Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Rebecca Joseph, and I am here to talk to you today about 10 tips for people who may be thinking about transferring colleges. Now, this presentation is geared to people who are both at the community college level and at a four-year college, and even people who are at high school who are thinking about what their options. So nice to see you. And by the way, this is the coldest I've been in a long time. I just flew from California to Baltimore today. I went from 68 degrees to 16 degrees. Brr. So I'm wondering who gets the prize for being in the coldest place today. I actually leads me to a good story to get us started. I had a call recently from a young lady who is in college in a place that's very cold right now. And she said, I love the college. I love my friends. I love my classes. I'm very cold. So I'm thinking of transferring to Hawaii, any school in Hawaii. And I said, well, that's not the reason to transfer being cold. I think if you have good friends, if you love your classes, if you love the environment, you can just layer up and just get a few care packages from home. But let's get going. If you need to reach me after this, my email address is getmetocollege@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook at Get Me to College Free Advice. And you can, of course, get this presentation afterwards. And feel free to share my slides with anybody you think may benefit from them. I thought I'd get started today by introducing you to four students. Uh, I'd like you to meet Alma. She's our first student. Alma went to a high school, a public high school. She didn't have any papers, immigration papers at the time, and she didn't have the money to go to a four-year college, so she went to her local community college. She began taking classes right away that interested in her and found a lifelong interest in political science. She began volunteering, she got involved in student government, and she even began to intern for local public officials, and she was able to find this amazing scholarship for transfer students called the Jack Kent Cooke Scholarship that covers 2 years of college for more than 60 transfer students. She was awarded it, and can you believe it? She's a full-time student at USC and is going to be going to law school. I am so proud of Alma. Meet Brian. Brian had a 3.5 GPA in high school. He had an uneven college list, and only a few of the colleges to which he applied accepted him. He attended a private college for 1 year on the East Coast, but he didn't feel very comfortable at the school. He didn't feel comfortable with the academics. He didn't feel comfortable with the social life or the activities. So he decided to apply to several colleges as a sophomore transfer student. He did, before he transferred, get involved with some activities. I encouraged him to meet some professors and make friends. And believe it or not, now he's a senior at USC. He was able to transfer into the college that he wanted to go to as a sophomore. Alma transferred in to college as a junior. Brian transferred in as a sophomore. Alma started off within a community college system. Brian started off within a four-year college system. Here's Sam. Believe it or not, Sam is currently a junior and he is studying abroad in Florence, Italy. He applied to many great four-year colleges. He selected one where after a semester he knew it was the wrong school. It didn't have the right academic programming for him. So he returned to LA where he was born and he went to a community college for a semester. He got immediately several internships in the field in which he's interested. He applied to several four-year colleges as a sophomore transfer, got into several, and is attending the college where he's incredibly happy. And believe it or not, there he is right now in Italy. Woo! I'd like to introduce you to our fourth student. This is Mark. Mark went to a local high school. He was an underachiever. He got a 2.8 GPA. He knew in 11th grade that he was not going to get into the four-year college of his desires, so he decided to exit high school early, get his GED, and go through community college. It took him, initially he had to go to three different colleges to get the requirements that he needed, but believe it or not, he interned at a law firm. He actually got involved in different protests on campus, did a summer job with the dental office, and now he's a senior at UCLA, where he transferred in as a junior. So each and every one of these students has a unique story, a unique path, but they all have one thing in common. No matter how they felt about the college or their environment where they were, The minute they started college, they got involved, they found academic passions, they got involved with activities, groups, volunteered, and got jobs. So in the next 55 minutes, and feel free, please ask questions as we go. I'm going to talk to you about what you need to do if you're thinking of transferring or know somebody who wants to transfer. Remember this: no college of any kind wants to inherit an unhappy transfer student. If you're not happy where you are, that's one thing, but you can't come across as an unhappy person. They may think that the school where you are is not appropriate for you, or the setting's not exactly what you want, but they don't want an unhappy student. So if for some reason there's something going on that makes you unhappy that has nothing to do with how you're going to be a powerful student, you may want to keep that to yourself. Even if you like your current college, colleges want transfer students with good GPAs, engagement on and off campus. You cannot be sitting in your room playing video games. You've got to get outside and exercise. You've got to take classes that interest you. You've got to meet some professors who can write you recommendations. You have to do some internships. You have to get involved in activities, even get a job selling ice cream or go work at Starbucks. You need to be busy. Transferring requires tremendous organization. There are deadlines and transfer and application requirements that you need to keep track of at all times, and that's what we're going to go over today. If you're going to transfer, it requires you to have focus. First of all, what do four-year colleges want from transfer students? Number one, they are looking for grades. They are academic institutions, and they expect you to come in actually knowing what you want to study if you're going to be a junior transfer. If you're a sophomore transfer, you have some more flexibility. I even once helped a girl transfer in freshman year. They still are looking for people who have academic focuses. There are three things that you need to keep consider when you're a transfer student. There are general education requirements that every college that you are going to apply to is going to expect that you're on your path to completing. There are going to be major prerequisites. Depending on the major that you think you're going to have, there are going to be courses that the colleges are going to want you to have taken before you will qualify for the major. And some students will take placement tests, and in taking their placement tests, they'll be remedial in math and English, and they will expect you to have completed your remediation before you transfer. Academics. We're going to talk about all of these in greater detail. Essays. You're going to be writing essays to transfer to the large majority of colleges in this country, and they're looking for specific things. Also, a lot of these colleges, including colleges where they have scholarships, are going to be looking for recommendations. They're going to want recommendations from professors, from community members, from advisors. You're going to need to get people at the college where you are now to get to know you. Activities. They're going to expect that you're doing things. They do not understand transfer students who are not engaged in either working, internships, activities, or passions. They expect you to be busy. They expect you to be busy during the school year, during winter session, and during summers. They do not understand transfer students who have not begun to take over control of their lives. They're looking for other things as well. They will take a look at your special talents, whether you're a filmmaker or whether you're a singer. They will take a look at your ethnic background. They'll take a look at your cultural background. They'll take a look at obstacles overcome, and they'll take a look at passions. These are all of the things that four-year colleges were looking for to begin with, even more so from transfer students. They expect you to come onto their campus as a transfer student and hit the ground running. They expect you to be able to take classes right away. They expect you to get involved in communities. They don't want you to come in and not know to be able to take care of yourself. So what do you do? What do you do is you keep a master chart of all requirements. Each college will have different prerequisites, and you need to track the following information on these slides. You need to keep a chart. In fact, I always think a master chart and then a chart for each college. You need to visit colleges and meet with transfer specialists. If they're in your city, they even have transfer days. Attend workshops at your community college on transferring. You need to meet with people. They want to talk to you. They want to let you know what are the academic requirements that they have for you. They want to let you know what the testing requirements are. You need to take serious control of your communication with colleges. Deadlines. You need to know the application and requirement deadlines for each school. Believe it or not, deadlines range anywhere from October to May. Colleges have all different kinds of deadlines. Some have fall deadlines, some have spring deadlines. Some, like the University of California, only have fall deadlines. Some, like Boston University, take spring transfers. Some colleges across the country take sophomores and juniors, while only, like the University of California, take juniors only. What you need to understand is it's very, very, very hard to transfer in as a college senior because they want you to do your major coursework at their university. So pretty much the latest you can transfer is the beginning of junior year. Colleges like the Cal States and UCs in California are due November 30th. You apply the fall of your second year. Schools like the University of Southern California are due February 1st, but may have earlier deadlines for selected majors like filmmaking, December 1st. So you need to do right away your research about all of these colleges, about when are their deadlines. The other thing about these colleges is they may have application deadlines, but they may have separate requirement deadlines. They may, for example, have a February 1st deadline for the application, but they may take your transcripts later if you're taking a winter course. They may take things after. So you're going to need to research two deadlines, the application deadline and then also the requirement deadline. So far we've talked about keeping a master list. You need to have deadlines and know them. That's very, very important. Does anybody have any questions before I go on to the next slide? Thank you. Academics. Colleges want you to be doing two things. They want you to be doing your general education or core requirements. Every college has different ones and they have them posted, but generally you need to keep track of every syllabus that you take in community college or at the four-year college where you are, because you may need to go and convince the college where you go that some of the courses that you've taken qualify. So from now on, keep copies of every single transcript. You need to be doing GE requirements, which are usually the following. Usually they're 2 English classes. Usually they're a math class. Usually there are 3 arts and humanities classes, 3 social science classes, 2 science classes, usually 1 with a lab. Some have foreign language requirements, some don't. So you need to keep track of the general education requirements. You need to make sure that you only take classes that count. When you're transferring or want to transfer, we don't have time for you to take classes that don't have transfer credit. I know you want to take piano lessons, but you need to do that as an extra course if they're not going to count for your transferring. You need to also make sure that if you're enrolled in a class at a community college or a four-year college, that you drop or withdraw a class so that you don't get unexpected fails. I have a lot of students who didn't know they needed to drop a class, so they have W's on their transcript. Colleges are very wary of students who have a lot of low grades in community college or withdrawals because they assume that this is your second chance. Or if you're at a four-year college, they expect you to have control of your life. Make sure if you have any grades below a C minus, that you repeat the exact same course, because the large majority of colleges will replace your grade or average your grade. So for example, I knew a student who wanted to transfer and he had taken business calculus and he had gotten an F. And business calculus wasn't offered for another year. So what happened was the F got factored into his GPA until he had cleared it a year later, and then it got averaged for some schools to a C and some schools the A that he got the second time counted. Academics, you need to be very clear about. Also, if you're a business major, if you're an engineering major, you're a history major, they have prerequisites that they want you to take before you get into that major. So if you're going to be transferring to a four-year college, they're going to assume that you've done your GE requirements, and they're going to assume that you've done the large majority of your major requirements. Please, it requires you to have a master schedule, and many times your GE courses and your major prerequisites can overlap. You are allowed to double dip. If you're a business major and you know you have to take statistics, that can also be your math requirement. Or if you're going to be a history major, you can take your history class and that can count as one of your GE classes. Please, please, please keep track of every class you take and of every grade you get. You need to make sure that you have every single drop-in withdrawal deadline, and you need to make sure that you check your transcripts on a regular basis. Assessments. In order to get into a lot of classes before you could transfer, you have to take a placement test at a community college. You have to take a placement test at the four-year college where you're starting. Please, please, please take these assessment tests very seriously because they place you into your college reading class and your college math class. And in California, we have very specific requirements, and I'm just showing you, for example, with the advice we have at some of our community colleges. They even have free sample questions. They even have things, a placement test, sample tests, and they have diagnostics. So please, if you need to do an assessment, practice for it. Please don't go in cold because often you can't do the assessment test again, and sometimes you're forced to take a class that you don't need to take before you can get into your required class. Please, again, I'm going back to academic readiness. Please, as soon as you know your placement tests, you're doing your GE courses, you're doing your major requirements, you need to also make sure you're doing the required number of units. Usually, if you're at a community college, they expect you to do 30 units a year. If you're going to transfer as a sophomore, they expect you to have 30 units. If you transfer in as a junior, they expect you to have 60 units. So you need to keep track of your units. Sometimes you may want to take a winter class so that you don't have to take 15 units. You can take summer classes the summer before you transfer, and before the year you transfer. For example, if you're planning on transferring next fall, no college that I know will take classes next summer. If you're planning to transfer the fall of 2016, then yes, of course, take classes this summer. The more you can bolster your GPA, the better you are. The other thing that you need to do is make sure if you have to do a remedial class, that you do it as soon as possible. You need to always have a plan. Please, transferring is such a wonderful opportunity for many people. It just requires having a plan. Here right now, I'm showing you a sample tracking sheet that the University of California has. They expect you to do certain things, and each community college in the state of California has their version of this sheet where they tell you exactly the GE courses that you need to take. GE. You can do that in Massachusetts. The University of Massachusetts will have its requirements. If you're in Texas, Texas will have the requirements. Every state has its requirements. Please make sure to get that sheet. And even if you're at a four-year college, you can do your very best to match classes up to these kinds of sheets. In California, we have a wonderful website called assist.org, where if you're at a community college, you can go to this website and plug in the college where you want to go, and they'll tell you the major courses that you need to take. Remember, you have to do your GE courses and you have to do major courses. And there are websites in every state to help you. Please, you do not have to make this up. We can help you make a plan. Find the online resources that help you. Find the transfer centers that will help you map out your coursework. And this is what happens when you go onto our website. They show the courses that they want you at the four-year college, and then they tell you the courses at the two-year college that you need to take to transfer. This is very, very helpful. You need to do it for every college that you would like to attend. They want to see that you're taking courses with a purpose. Then there's schools like USC that have their own requirements. And so they have categories. And so the nice thing is they have a little checklist where you can go check, 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 check. You need to know the requirements for every college. Again, please save your syllabi. Please make sure to keep track of everything. You're going to need to, in fact, send your transcripts to colleges, so you need to check them all the time. Now, this page has a lot of information on it, but let me go through it with you. You need to go into colleges with a major, and they have their requirements. Private colleges have their own rules, but they want you to complete general education. Remember, unit counts. Remember, 60 units if you're going to transfer to a 4-year, 15 per semester. Please take winter classes, summer classes. Also, a lot of colleges have guaranteed transfer plans. And if you go to the community college and you complete this plan, they guarantee that you'll get in. California has some. I know a lot of colleges around the country have them. You need to go your freshman year and find out, and you need to start. Please find these specific programs. I want you to transfer to colleges that are the right match for you. I believe that when you're planning your schedule, that you take a mix of GE and major classes. I don't think that you should take 3 science classes at a time if you're a social science person. Please try to balance your classes. You can use this awesome website called Rate My Professor. Check out the professors. Talk to your friends in your other classes. They always recommend good professors. Also, here's the profound difference between high school and college. You can drop classes within the first week or 2. Don't suffer in classes where you won't do well. You can go trade a class. You can make moves. You need to take control of your schedule. Please. I always believe in a nice mixture of classes. Academic success. Now, I'm a college professor, and did you know that I have to have office hours 4 hours a week? I am very lonely during my office hours. Very few people come to talk to me. And if they do, they get my special attention. So go find out whether you're at a 2-year college or a 4-year college. Excuse me, it's a little dry. Please find out when my office hours are. Come visit me or come visit your professors. Did you know that on every college in our country, there are writing and math centers where you can go get free math help and free writing help? Please go find them on your campus so that you can get help in your transfer courses. There are programs on a lot of colleges called EOP or Puente or CARE or different programs for first-generation college students. Go find them. They offer you free studying. They'll offer you even waivers for books. Go find these support programs on your campuses. If you know people who are forming a study group, join them. I have a young lady who I worked with this year who joined 3 study groups and was able to write about them in her application essay. She met some of the most interesting people that she had ever met in her entire life. Also, I highly recommend that you join scholars and honors programs at your community college or your 4-year college. Scholars and honors programs usually require you to have a particular GPA to enter. You can do it either from high school or from college. Remember, there are many colleges in our country that don't even look at high school for kids who are attending community college. It is a great second chance. I have a question. Martha, you have the same last name as me. I'm so excited to meet you. I agree with you. You shouldn't have to suffer in classes, and you should try to balance out your schedule. I think, Martha, thank you so much. It was nice to meet you. I hope to get to meet another person with my last name. But yes, remember, in college, you could be proactive. Rate my professor. Talk to friends. If you don't like it, and if you feel it's not going the right way, drop the class and pick up a new one. It is never worth suffering in a college class that you don't like. Get involved. Community colleges and four-year colleges have so many opportunities for you. And in fact, in our country, we're increasingly regulating how much people work when in college and whether you can intern for free. And so they're pretty much requiring you to be enrolled in college to do internships. So now's your opportunity to get involved. Get involved with athletics. You can even take athletic classes. Get involved with student government. Did you know that if you do athletics or student government or different kinds of programs on campus that you get priority enrollment? Get a job, any kind of job. Colleges love people who are working. Do community service. Just because you're out of high school doesn't mean that you still should be serving your community. There's so many amazing things that you can be doing. If you want to go into education, you should be working at a school. If you want to go into psychology, you should be doing some kind of service with a support group. If you want to go into law, what better thing to go to a legal clinic or do an internship? Please go to the career services office of your college. A four-year college has them and a two-year college has them, and they list internships. If you want, I know a young lady who wanted to be a filmmaker, and she knew nobody in the film business. So at her community college, she went to the internship office and she did 6 different internships. And she was able to transfer into the most competitive film program based on that. I am so amazed at what she did. Another question. How would one find about, Martha wants to know, how do you find out about care support programs? You find them by going onto the community college website and look up for support questions. I highly recommend it. For example, if you go to, I could do it for you on here, but you wouldn't be able to see it, sadly. But what I would do is I would go to the community college and look up support for first-generation students, support for underrepresented students, support for poor students, support for, single moms. They have all kinds of support programs. It requires you doing a Google search. Also, work. If you are going to work, it's a delicate balance. I don't want you ever saying to somebody, it's because I was working that I couldn't keep my grades up. I know a young man that was working 40 hours a week on a startup, and his grades began to suffer. I said, you're going to have to either cut back or take time off from community college because they're looking for number 1 grades and then the other things that you've done. Grades, 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 and then work, then involvement, then service. And if you get stuck, I'm very good at brainstorming. I was talking to somebody last night who wants to do a field I knew nothing about, and I told him a great idea, go to farmers markets, because farmer markets are always looking for people to help out. And if you're interested in the environment or ecology or farming, just go think about what's in your area. Go to your community college, go to the career services, and you will find internships. If you're stuck, I'm always a good person to contact about that. Paying for a community college. Remember, if you're in a community college, you can still get financial aid. You can still fill out your FAFSA right now for next year. You need to remember, if you're at a 4-year college and a 2-year college, that when you get financial aid, it only covers you for a certain number of units. So that's why you need to be very strategic. I have a lot of students who come to my university and they've already maxed out of units because they took too many classes at community college. You can also complete your state grant applications. Go to the financial aid office of the community college or the 4-year college and ask for fee waivers. Undocumented students can get these too now in many states. There are fee waivers for you at community colleges. There are many scholarships that you can apply for. Just because you're going to a community college does not mean you cannot get financial aid. Also, you need to budget for books. They're often $150 to $200 per class. I know some physics books and chemistry books that are very expensive. So go to the library, rent, buy books that are used. but you need to budget for your books. Please budget for your books. Community college students, it is not too late. You get a fresh start. Remember, only take the classes that you need to take. Get involved on campus. Get priority enrollment. Get involved off campus to explore your academic interests, to work. Attend as many transfer meetings as possible. A lot of colleges have transfer session after transfer session after transfer session at the community college. Don't forget that the four-year colleges have transfer sessions also. More and more colleges are committed to having transfer students, especially veterans. You may have started and then gone off to serve our country and then come back. They really want to have you on campus. Again, if you're a top student, talk to me about the Jack Kent Cooke Foundation. They give 60 transfer scholarships every year to top transfer kids that help cover up to $25,000 of your last 2 years of college. That's amazing. I have met some of the most amazing transfer kids this way. Again, please remember, research colleges. It takes a lot of work, but go look at the percentage of transfer students. Find out where you live if you're going to go move away from home. Find out where do transfer kids live. What kind of priority enrollment do they have for you? What kind of housing do they have? Also, colleges like Loyola Marymount in California now even have a 1-unit transfer class for you to take when you transfer in. That is so nice. I'm always interested in orientation. I'm just interested in the different ways that you're going to meet people on campus. When you're going to transfer and you're a community college student and you're getting close to 30 units, you need to make a plan. You need to attend transfer workshops. You need to decide if you're going to match up with a particular college and tag them, match with them. You need to figure out when is that application due. You need to begin to think, okay, they all have requirements. I have my master list. I need to prepare I need to fill out their applications. I need to send them my test scores if they require high school test scores. There's some colleges in our country who want them. There's some who don't. Prepare great essays. You need to get your transcripts together. You need to get letters of recommendation. Do you see why you need to have a master chart? Oh my goodness. If you're a current four-year student, let me talk to you very clearly. Your winter and spring grades need to be the highest you've ever had. They do not understand four-year college students who are not doing well academically. You need to connect with at least one professor because you're going to need an academic letter from many colleges, and that's sometimes very hard for a freshman. You may be in all these big lecture classes. So that's why you need to go to their office hours. That's why you need to go ask them questions. That's why you need to get to know your TA. You also need to find out who your registrar is and your academic advisor, because you're going to need to next year when you're applying, or this year, put their information into their applications. You're going to need to send in official transcripts. Some colleges will want your high school transcript. Some will want just your college transcripts. If you're going to be asking for foreign language requirements, they will need to see your high school transcripts. And many of the top private colleges want to see your high school, but the more you've been in college, the more they rely on your college grades. If your college requires SAT, ACT, or AP test scores, because a lot of them will give, if you have a 4 or 5 on AP test scores, they'll let you count them as classes. You need to send them in as well. There are no unofficial scores. There are no unofficial transcripts. You need to send them in. But there's schools that are unusual, like the University of California, or the University of Texas, or the University of Washington, that have you self-report your grades. So you need to have your transcript there when you fill out the application. You fill in the grades, and then in June you send in the proper transcripts. Please, four-year college students, be active on your campus. Join groups, join organizations, get a job, get an internship. I've known a lot of kids who do this, and they're able to transfer to colleges that they couldn't have gotten into when they were a high school senior. Please, they want you to be involved. They know that when you're taking classes, you're not in class as much as you were in high school. They expect you to be working 10 to 15 hours a week in something else. They do not understand four-year college students who are not engaged and involved in activities and opportunities. Applications. You need to be very organized and manage the process. You need to have a system. The Common Application is used for a large majority of the applications, but still there are colleges like the University of California, University of Washington, University of Texas, University of Oregon or Arizona who require you to fill out their applications. You will need to write essays for many of these colleges, and they differ from the essays that you may have written when you were a high school senior. They are different. They are looking for different information. So let's talk about this. You need to make sure when you're getting your application together, my academics, how do I get to them my grades? How am I going to send in my letters of recommendation? Now the Common Application lets you do some of them electronically. You may still need to hand in envelopes to professors. How am I going to get them my academic advisor information? If they require a mid-year report, when is that due? To whom do I send the transcripts? And sending transcripts is you need to go to your community college or your college and the registrar will send them out for you. And you need to write essays. We need to keep track of all of these to make sure they're all completed in time. Essays. The Common Application has one main essay plus writing supplements, and then state schools have their own prompts, but most include some form of prompt like the Common Application. So here's the Common Application prompt for transfer students. Please provide a statement that addresses your reasons for transferring and the objective you hope to achieve. And they give you 250 to 650 words. It's very clear. Why do you want to transfer and your objective you hope to achieve? They want to know what you've done since high school. They want to know what have you been doing in college to explore. How do you know? So I worked with a young man who wants to transfer after a year and a half at his college. He knows he wants to transfer because they don't have a particular program that he's looking for, and he's done 3 clubs at his college. He's done a fraternity organization. He's been doing this incredible volunteer project. Last summer he had an internship, and he's been doing a sport. And he was able to say, I've tried out everything I possibly could. I've really been engaged, but I know academically I've gone as far as I can, and I know that I'm looking for a college that offers me this. That's what they're looking for. If you're at a community college, they want to know, how have you found your way at community college? How have you begun to find your academic passions? How has working and internships shaped you? They really want to know what kind of person you are since you graduated from high school. Now, I'm going to show you the University of California prompts, and you're going to see that it's very similar, one of them. In California, they have to write 2 prompts that equal 1,000 words. The first one is, what is your intended major? Discuss how your interest in this subject developed, and describe any experiences you've had in the field, such as volunteer work, internships, and employment, participation in student organizations and activities, and what you've gained from your involvement. That is very similar to the Common Application. They want to know, how do you know what you want to major in? What have you done to explore it? And you can talk about activities and courses that you've done. Their second prompt is, tell us a personal quality, accomplishment, contribution, or experience that's important to you. What about this makes you proud? I think, and I highly believe, that you're talking about one of your activities since you graduated from high school. They are not interested in who you were in high school anymore. They want to know who the college person is. This is a great opportunity for you to brag about who you are and what you've done. They're not looking for the kind of crazy creative essays that they were looking for, that I love kids to write when they're a freshman. Transfer essays are practical, focused, and driven. In the essays, I really recommend that you give specific evidence. I also think they want a linear story. They want to know what happened and how have you gotten there. They want you to focus on leadership and initiative. Where have you taken advantage? I worked with a young man who in high school wasn't the highest achiever and decided to leave early. And when he left early, not only did he begin to take classes immediately at a community college, he actually started a job at a business, working in the hospitality business. And then he also worked at a startup. And he was able to compare what it meant working for a startup to what it meant to work for an existing organization. Colleges eat that stuff up. They need to know that you're happy. They need to know that you're just working towards these goals. They don't want to know that you suffered a huge depression freshman year. They don't want excuses in college. They don't want to have an unhappy transfer student. They also want to know how you've taken advantage of the opportunities that you've had so far, so you could talk about what you've done and taken advantage of. Please, when you're writing your essays, be very focused on what you offer the college. What I have right here is a sample essay from a guy transferring from a 4-year college to a 4-year college. And you can see how he's focused on how he's been happy, but how he's come to the end of the road. After spending 3 semesters in college, I am looking for a college with vibrant school spirit and a business program with greater potential to pursue entrepreneurship and the more creative aspects of business. When I came to my college as a freshman, my main goals were to get involved on campus in as many organizations as possible and take advantage of the business school's curriculum. After my first semester, I had joined and accepted leadership positions, and then he tells all the things that he's done. 3 semesters later, I look back on everything I've done as a VP or vice president or VP of 5 out of 6 of these groups, and I'm extremely proud to have accomplished everything I set out to do. I've also thoroughly enjoyed pursuing my passions for finance and accounting, and as a double major in both subjects. However, as I look back ahead to future semesters, I see little room for my own personal growth, both as a student and as a devoted member to each of these organizations. While blank has allowed me to pursue my passions, I long for a more vibrant program in entrepreneurship, which promotes the vitally important creative mindset to be successful in business. I also dream of going to a school with a much more palpable sense of school spirit and community. As the editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper, Sports Magazine, I thoroughly enjoyed covering high school athletics and the amazing school spirit that students displayed on game day. Although my college does have as athletics, the campus lacks a uniting element to promote a sense of community, as students tend to disregard school sporting events. I dream of once again being part of an environment where students feel strongly attached to their school through the sense of community and pride that Division I athletics promote, and I am also eager to get involved in sports journalism in college. I have also enjoyed my coursework in finance and accounting, but as an aspiring entrepreneur, I long to have a business curriculum that places greater emphasis on creativity to help students create their own businesses. While the business school at my college is effective at teaching students their technical knowledge, I would love the opportunity to take more hands-on, inventive classes to pursue my passion for entrepreneurship. I am grateful to have spent 3 semesters at blank, but I am looking for a more vibrant community to be a part of where I can get involved in organizations and take courses that will allow me to make a greater impact on the community and nurture my own entrepreneurial spirit. Do you see how this is somebody who is, even though he's run out of things in his mind to do, he is focusing on what he's gained, and he's focusing on what more he can get someplace else. He's not saying, unhappy I am. He's saying, I've been engaged and involved, but I've hit the limit for where I am, and I know there are colleges out there where I can have those opportunities. Here's the example of somebody who transferred from a 2-year to a 4-year college. This story is a little bit different. I have always had a love for music from a young age and started singing when I entered high school. As a freshman, I sang for fun, but then as time went on and I started to get more involved, I caught the music bug. It became a part of who I am and has made the person I am today. Singing in school choirs and musical theater productions and taking private lessons, I didn't know this is what I wanted to do professionally until later in high school. Many people I was around knew exactly what they wanted, but not me. I think more because my head got in the way than I wanted it to. In a way, though, I'm happy it did, because this time has given me the opportunity to expand my craft and get clear about what I want. One of the things I love about music is it sees me at my best. The music asks me to put aside everything else and just let go. It's the one place where no matter what's happening to me, good or bad, I can escape to new worlds through singing. The reason I want to pursue vocal arts at college is because I know it will make me the person I was meant to be, the best version of myself. Too many people settle because they think that's all that is for them. But I think that's unfair. It's unfair to the future you do better and achieve what you want so unimaginable. I think life is about creating yourself, not finding yourself. As I keep learning and changing, I get to help others tap into that part of themselves as well. One of the greatest joys I've gotten to experience has been singing at retirement homes. An amazing thing about performing is I can't recreate the same performance twice. Singing for these people at these homes has been such a pleasure. Each time I learn something new and people react differently. My favorite part is when some of them close their eyes and sing along. By some magical magnetic force, music brings people together. I sing it because it chose me. My voice chose me. It comes to make me believe that there really are no accidents. Music is a part of my everyday life, and I often wonder how my life has changed because of it. It's our decisions that shape who we are, and with that, I greatly say thank you for the music. You see, this person has talked about the singing at retirement homes, is thinking about what music means to her, and now I know what she's been doing will get her ready to be a music major in college. I think, and she has a little bit more of her essay where she talks about what she's done to get better proficiently in music. I think it's very important for you to make sure that you boast in these essays about what you've been doing. Now she talks about that she took advanced placement courses. She's been taking GE courses at community college and piano classes. She's been studying with piano teachers and performing at local nursing homes. So that's what she's working on. If you see the specificity, it will help you write your essays. Now, I have 14 minutes left, and I can talk about whatever you want if anybody has any questions or comments. But I'll give you my email address. It's getmetocollege@gmail.com or rjoseph@calstatela.edu. I'm on Facebook at Get Me to College, free advice. I do have a Facebook page, Get Me Through College. I have a website. I have Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. I'm crazy and busy. I believe that community college or transferring from a four-year college takes a lot of thought and a lot of practice. And I know that everybody has a reason they think they want to transfer. I just always ask you to give the place where you are a chance. Give it a chance. And if you know then that you can't be happy, you've got to have two plans to transfer. You've got to have a plan to transfer as a sophomore, and if that doesn't work, you have to have the plan to transfer as a junior. You've got to keep on plugging. You've got to keep on working. So Les, thank you for your comment. That's very nice of you. I'm so hopeful that you get to transfer to the college of your choice. I'm very worried, though, that some people want to transfer because their parents are missing them. I had a girl call me yesterday saying, my parents miss me. And I asked her, do you miss your parents? She said, I miss them, but I'm having the time of my life. And I said, then when you talk to your parents, you can't call home and complain. You have to tell them why you're happy. You have to encourage them to visit you. You have to let them know that you'll be home for spring break. You'll be home for summer. You'll be home all the time. The most important thing is I want you to transfer for the right reason. If you're somebody who's a late bloomer, transferring is for you. If you're somebody who thought you wanted to go one school and you've rediscovered that you want to go to another school, transferring is for you. If you're a community college and you've been taking all of your GE courses and you've been taking your prerequisites and you know what you want, transferring is for you. Transferring is not for people who are not doing well right now. You need to rebuild your GPA. Transferring is not for people who can't find that major on your campus. You need to always transfer into a school that has your major. I know a lot of kids, and by the way, did you know that there are community colleges in our country that have dorms? So Santa Barbara is a great place. You can go to Santa Barbara City College, and then you can transfer into Santa Barbara. I want you to also give yourself choices. So please don't just apply to one place to transfer. The nice thing is that you have a lot of time to plan. If you're going to transfer for the fall of 2016, we have a lot of time. You could get a lot of work done between now and then. If you're a high school senior, you can even take classes the summer 2015. You can get an internship now. You can begin to say, you know, I knew the end of senior year that that I was going to transfer, and I began to take advantage of opportunities. I think right now it's very important for you to realize that transferring is a very serious process. A lot of schools are built around transfers. The University of California takes up to a third of their classes transfers. But there's schools like Princeton that don't take any transfers. They only believe in the 4-year college experience. So you need to have a realistic list of colleges. The other thing about transferring is deadlines take place. People who want to transfer for next fall, they're March 1st deadlines, they're March 15th deadlines, they're April 1st deadlines. They're deadlines that are rolling. You can still try to transfer, but it means that you need to get your stuff together. You need to have your transcripts. You need to send your grades, your recommendations. Now's the perfect time to be working on financial aid for next year. You need to really figure out that when you transfer, it's an opportunity for you to really push through your major. That's really the point. And there are a lot of kids who think, you know, I chose a school that was small liberal arts. I want a big state college with rah-rah. That's fine. So you need to just make sure that you're not transferring for the sake of transferring. I want you to give the college where you are a real chance. And that's what colleges expect. They want you to take advantage of academics. They want you to be involved on campus and off campus. They want you to be happy. I had a young man once was at the University of Washington, and he said, I want to come back to California. I have the college. But he had 2 C's. And I said, you know, it's going to be really hard to transfer with C's. So let's get cracking and let's double up on some courses. Let's take winter classes. Let's take spring classes. A lot of colleges won't admit you until June when you're a transfer student. That's the last thing I could talk about is when you'll find out. Transfer students, you will find out. Some schools are rolling and some will let you know based on availability. Last year, I had kids finding out anywhere from March through August. A lot of colleges fill in spaces with transfer students. So I need you to figure out, how are you going to pay your deposit for your college next year? Are you going to take a leave of absence so that if you need to return that you can? I think if you're at a 4-year college, you need to always take a leave of absence so that if you decide that you want to go back, think about it. Also, did you know there are visiting college programs where you can go be a visiting student for sophomore year at a college? There's an opportunity for you right now that if you're not happy and you don't transfer to the school of your choice, that as a sophomore you can go visit a college. Barnard has a visiting school program. There are a lot of colleges that do. The most important thing for transferring, I'll go back to my very beginning slide, is you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. That's the most important thing. Have a plan, have a plan, have a plan. I'm going to go back to the very beginning so you can see it. I have these pretty pictures. So I think that the most important thing is remember, Alma, you know, didn't think that she was going to be able to go to this amazing 4-year college, and she did. She did it by taking her academics and her life seriously. Brian thought, oh, I'm doomed. I didn't get into any college that I wanted to. He got involved where he was, and then he transferred to a college in his sophomore year. Sam, things change. Our interests change. He thought he wanted to be at this college, and then he decided he didn't. He came back. He got internships, and now he's studying abroad in Italy. Mark was a late bloomer in high school. I tell you, he was very smart to go to community college, and then he transferred into his dream college. These are all, if they can do it, you can do it. I am so grateful that you were here with me today. We're just going to end about 5 minutes early, unless the attendees have any last questions. I think you are the best audience of all time. Please, please, please do the very best that you can to transfer with a plan. Thank you very much.